Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to review round 3 of the 2025 AFL Supercoach season. A bit of an underwhelming week, I suppose, given we scored at 1854, which was in the top 36% for the round, so nothing fantastic there. About 90 below the average, and we did drop about 4,000 spots overall. But I guess the trades we made didn't exactly work out the way we had planned. So we'll have a look and we'll go from there. So Harry Sheasel continues to underwhelm with an 89. I think we're just going to hold. There's bigger issues that we need to look at. Jordan Clark with 104, so turning up is okay. We'll take that. Tom Stewart was a late out, so we didn't end up getting anything from him. Matty Roberts was on the bye. We only used him to loop in our rookie score, which worked out really nicely. So this was a last minute sort of change. I thought Tom Stewart was going to play, so I went away from O'Sullivan and went into Fryer. But as it turned out, Tom Stewart didn't play. O'Sullivan outscored Fryer, and sort of cooked that trade. But 68's okay. It's nothing to panic about. We'll keep the faith. SDK with a 50 was disappointing. Made a little bit of money, but I think that's about it. And then, the defender rookies, we were a bit worried about them last week, but 88 from Reed was awesome. Trainer with 90 would have been great if we could have got his score too for Stewart, for example, but wasn't to be. So, all in all, I think the defence is a lot better than where it was looking last week. We still have Bice to come in this week. In the midfield, we had Brayshaw with a 131, which was fantastic. I know a few people captained him, so may have got a few points on me there. Chera with a 98 is okay given the price point. Oliver with 80 we're hoping for a bit more, but I guess maybe it was just the matchup. Gold Coast look pretty good at the moment from all reports. Will Ashcroft was amazing with a 136, so I know a few people traded him out, so glad we held. Finn Callahan didn't sort of hit the heights of the first 2 rounds with just a 55, so that's okay. We can ride that wave. O'Driscoll continues to smash it with a 104, so averaging 96 at 270k now is unreal. Levi was a bit quiet with a 39. And then Lindsay was another trade in this week and unfortunately did a knee and only got 9. So not sure how long he's out for. I am recording this on Monday. Just got a bit on today at the time of publication, so get it out of the way nice and early. So may have to trade, maybe a hold. We'll just see later in the week. Sardis was a late out with the hand, so he probably misses this week as well, but probably one we can't afford to hold on to. Hewitt, I think, started as the sub, so only 22. He's a bit flat, but surely he won't be the sub every week. And Henderson, we brought in as a cheap option. 43, made a bit of money, 50k, which is pretty handy start there. In the rucks, so Sherry with 89, apparently was favouring hamstring, so one to keep an eye on as a potential trade. TDK though was fantastic with a 133. And then the forwards, Horn Francis with an 82, continues to disappoint, and a few people sort of discussing getting rid of him this week. Jack McRae, the VC, we took the 120. Obviously, we had Sherry as captain, so that was the right call in the end. So it continues to be awesome. Daniel with 116. So, these guys are just set and forget. We used Warner as the loop, so we did get Stones 46, which is okay. But Davidson was the big surprise, a 129, which is amazing. So he's made 80k and he's got that in his average for another 2 weeks. So he should make us some good money. Kako with a 62 is pretty decent. Um, Patton probably a bit dead in the water. And Mitch Nevitt also coming in as the sub this week with just the 20. So sub risk they're killing us a bit. But like I said, I think there's more things we need to focus on. In terms of the league, a narrow loss to Al's Eagles this week. And I think it was one of the Eagles, namely Jeremy McGovern, who snuck him over the line in that last game with a 103. Nank with a 120 was good, so obviously covering TDK. Gone with an 88 sort of covered Cherry nicely, so the rucks cancelled each other out. So you'd think with Will Ashcroft going big would have done it, but I guess just a couple of 50s compared to 64 for Connor Rosie was the only sub 80 score that counted there. So some consistent scoring there from Al getting the dub this week. And I guess when you look through our league, you can see there's quite a few 1900s and 1998 for Skits Fits, 1984, but there was a 2000. So Matt, East Valley United, with a 2036 this week. So he had TDK's advice, so that worked out really well. Will Ashcroft had, which is good. He played Sullivan and Trainer and Garcia with a 99, I've just noticed. So super solid scoring there. Just having a bit of a look through, it looks like 77 from O'Sullivan was the worst score this week that counted. So that's great going there, Matt. Isaac Rankin as well. So yeah, good differentials there. We'll have a look at some other players that went big. So round 3 points. So Luke Jackson with a monster 165 yesterday against West Coast. Won't play West Coast every week. Won't play without Darcy every week. So probably not one to look at bringing in. Jack Sinclair though with a 162 I think is a defender keeper target if you're looking to do something there with that. Matt Rowell, so another big scorer, 136, but he has done this in the past, start the season well and then tails off a bit, so I am a bit hesitant to get on. Hugh McCluggage with a 136, so he's, out of those Brisbane mids, he's probably the one we don't talk about too much, but big score this week. Zorko continues to carve up, so it's a bit scary getting him in at 620, but he's given us no reason not to believe at this point. Watson, another forward scoring well this week with a 134, but does have the bye this week and also an average of 82 suggests that that's not the most sustainable score. Libba continues to carve up without the Bont. I don't know when Bontempelli is available. Might have a bit of a look. We talked about these guys clearly. Tuke Miller. So he's been a Supercoach favourite of the past. Is he back potentially alongside Rao? Holmes has been going really good in defence. So averaging a 114. He was probably the one we should have brought in instead of Stewart. But it is what it is. George Hewitt's done it in the past with a 126 this week. Darcy's getting a few big raps. I don't know if the 100 average is sustainable when he plays up front, but maybe it is. Maybe he is a top six forward. Rory Laird, he's scored well in the past, so that makes sense. Nank in the ruck, I think we talked about. Marriage is one that's very interesting at 265k. Obviously, he didn't score big the first 2 weeks, but I know a few people are keen on him. Burgoyne, don't know too much about. Noble, not too sure what his deal is. Rankin we've looked at. Meek in the ruck, albeit on the bye. Marshall's looking pretty good in the ruck. So I think if you've stuck with like a Matt Flynn, maybe like a Marshall's a bit cheaper than a Cherry at the moment, could be the way to go. Any other real cheap options? A few mid prices here turning up. Bailey Humphrey's one that's very interesting. So 2 tons in 2 weeks. Nasiah, averaging 106, is a popular keeper. Murphy Reed tonned up this week, so well done to those who got on him. He's made 67k and is going to continue to make money. I think that's the biggest talking points. Hugo Garcia there with the 99 we already discussed. So yeah, so in terms of the team this week, if we have a look just early doors at the most popular trade-ins, Riley Bice, a lot of people have sort of already banked in terms of bringing in this week. Moraes is proven to be a potential cheapie option, scored a 94 this week. So on top of, what's that, 52 in the first round. So I guess if you're looking to trade out of a Lindsay, or maybe you're sick of a Nevitt or something like that, potentially. Bailey Humphrey, as we said, off the back of 200s, and the Suns looking pretty good to start the year. Could be a nice quick cash grab and obviously make us some money in the forwards. And then Rao, Sinclair, those more keeper type options if you're looking to pivot potentially. So yeah, so I guess for me what I'm thinking is we do need to get Bice in. And just looking at my squad, I think the weak link is DeConning. So if we go by break even, we get Bice in. Um, and then I guess the next trade that I like is I'm actually going to dump Juan Francis. You know, from the reports, it seems like he's just not got the right attitude. Um, Probably thinks he's a bit better than what he is, sort of deal. Um, so what we're going to do is we are going to take Bailey Humphrey, which obviously gives us a monster cash in the bank. So you can see I've already got the boost activated. It's probably not ideal to use 3 boosts back to back to back. But I guess what we're going to try and do is boost up through the middle here. So um, the question is, who do we trade out? I guess the obvious one is Lindsay. However, if his injury is not too bad, we could hold off. But what I'm thinking is Patton is a bit of a dead rookie. So I'm going to get rid of Patton, move Hewitt back into the midfield. And then if we sort by highest price, I'm going to bring in Nick Dacos. So I think if I can have a look at his figures, so it does have a break even, could get him a bit cheaper next week, but we've got the money, so I don't think that's a big issue. But if we have a look at his stats, so he did have a 66, which is dragging him down. That goes after this week. So if he can get that 100 or 100 plus this week, we won't lose that much money, and after that he'll start kicking back up in price. So Dacos is one where you could play the break even game a bit, but I'm going to try and get on a bit early and leapfrog a few competitors that way. So make those trades. And so still have a fair bit of cash in the bank, but obviously you can't do a second boost this week. So we can use that next week to potentially do another upgrade without using a boost. I don't know if there's any downgrade options on the horizon, but we can look at that through the week, and then we'll boost. Oh, sorry, we'll upgrade somewhere, even if it's like a like if Finn Callahan flops again or something like that, or there's an injury, then obviously it's easy to get to another keeper with that cash in the bank. So that's the trades in terms of the team this week. We'll just trainer scored a 90, but we'll back Bice in at D6. Obviously, if Stewart doesn't get up, he'll slot in there nicely. I don't think we can loop really. Yeah, I guess we'll know beforehand anyway if Geelong play on Friday night. Um, what I'm going to do is just, so I don't necessarily have to play Nevitt, so I'm going to put Dacos in the flex. I know a lot of people might want him up here in the midfield so it looks nicer. But he plays in the first game. We can lock him in as the VC, and then there's no issues around that. And then what we can do is probably use Nevitt. We don't have any buy players. Oh, Sardis would be on the buy, wouldn't he? So, well, Lindsay's got to come out anyway. So it's basically we'll loop Nevitt with Henderson in that spot. Yeah, because Sardis, even um, if he was fit, he'd be on the buy anyway. So that'll work. Rucks are fine. Um, and then we'll just do similar. Like Kako can stay on as our captain loophole. And so, well, I guess Dacos plays early, so it's just whichever one we prefer out of Hewitt or Stone. They both play at the same time, but I guess just given how West Coast have been going, you'd fancy if Stone is a forward, genuine forward, he'll kick some goals. So might just lock in Stone for that sixth forward spot. So we've got our VC nailed down. Now it's just captain. So the way he's going, I think Jack McRae. Who's he got this week against Port, who have been disappointing? I think makes sense to me. I mean, you could go Brayshaw against the Dogs. Uh, Cherry, as I said, under a bit of injury cloud. TDK is obviously a nice vice captain option if you're not running a Dacos, but I've got Dacos, so Cherry, I suppose, maybe not as high of a ceiling. I wouldn't be captaining Sheasel. Just wait to see him bounce back first. Potentially a Clark as a solid score, but I think you can get a solid score out of Brayshaw to be fair. So yeah, so I think that's the way we're going to line up this week with the team. Actually, oh yeah, no, so Stone comes in now. I was just thinking, do we have Sardis as the captain? Do we need to do this? But we'll keep that there as a captaincy option. And yeah, so that's the team going into this week. Obviously, Dacos you can't quite see. There you go, I'll sneak him in there. So as always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you're enjoying the AFL content in particular. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.